Ever feel like Britain is just broke? Well, there's a reason for that, and it's probably not what you think. Let's break it down, but first, you need to understand one thing, the debt-to-GDP ratio. I know it sounds a bit boring, but trust me, it's really important. Imagine this chocolate bourbon represents the UK's total debt, and this custard cream represents how much money the country makes in a year. It's GDP. When I was born back in 1994, the UK's debt-to-GDP ratio was about 30%. For every pound the country made, the government owed 30 pence. This stayed pretty stable until 2008 when the global financial crisis hit. We had to bail out the banks, and suddenly, our debt jumped to around 60% of GDP. Over the next decade, under a Tory government, it crept up to about 80%. Then, the pandemic happened. The government had to borrow even more money to support everyone. Today, Britain's debt-to-GDP ratio is sitting at roughly 100%. That means for every pound we make as a country, we owe a pound in debt. Now, you might be thinking, 100%? That sounds bad. But here's the weird part. It's not even the main problem. If you look at other countries, France's ratio is 113%, America's is 120%, and Japan's is a staggering 240%. So why is everyone so worried about the UK? What is really mad is that Britain is paying more interest on its debt than any of those countries. Why? Because the people and institutions lending money to the government aren't just looking at the total amount of debt. They're looking at how quickly it's piling up. Think of it like this. Japan is your friend who's always in their overdraft. It's just their normal state. America is the high earner who spends a lot but always shows up to work and pays their bills. Britain. We were the sensible one. But recently it's like we've bought a new car, a dog, and a hair transplant all in the same month. We've been acting like we got a massive pay raise, but really we just maxed out a new credit card. Because of this sudden spending spree, the lenders are getting nervous. They see the UK as a bigger risk, so they're starting to charge us a lot more interest. We're now in the crazy position where 8% of all the money the government spends goes just to paying off interest on our debt. That's more than double the entire defense budget. When you're spending more on interest payments than on defending your country, you know you're in a bad spot. So how do we get out of this mess? Well, that's a whole other video. If you want to hear about the solutions and what we can do to fix this, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for part 2. Thanks for watching.